Hello everyone, this is Aman again with another show. I have another guest today. He is Faysal Bin Shakhawat. He is the coordinator of English Olympiad at Khulna Division. I would like to talk with him about inspiring empathy. You know, empathy is a very great topic. We are talking for a long time. So this topic is especially for our youth leaders who are talking inspiring empathy. And today I would like to introduce with you all with Faisal bin Shakhawat. He's working in a great way in many institutions and organizations. He's a student, he's a teacher and trainer. So I'd like to call him to come and join and introduce himself for his activities, and everyone would like to know about you. Welcome, Faisal, to at our English on the show.
Okay, welcome everyone,
Faisal.
and thank you, Aman Bhai. Hello everyone. I am Faysal Bin Shakhawat, and I am the divisional coordinator of Khulna Region. It feels nice to be with you, and today I'm gonna share a very important topic, and which I believe is very important in current scenarios. And we're gonna discuss different perspectives. We're gonna see how you feel, what you think. We're gonna get your feedback, of course, because this is gonna be an interactive session as well. You're gonna have to interact, and we have some platforms to do so as well. Today's topic is very important, at least to me, that leadership is a growing topic right now, because in different adverse scenarios, you always need leaders to step up and do the magic, right? Um, First, we're gonna, and by the way, I am also a student. I'm studying business right now, and I also am a professional in ESL, English as a second language, teaching as well. Also I'm a teacher trainer. I teach teachers around the world who come to my program, not my program, a program of the State Department of the United States of America. I go there and teach different teachers from all around the world. They go there. So today's topic is solely my experience sharing rather than knowledge sharing. Okay. I do think I have some fantastic examples and fantastic scenarios to share with you, so that I can encourage you to be more empathetic, and also it is the power is in you to actually debunk all of the stereotypes that is around us, as well as to change the scenarios, to change the difficulties, and have the power to solve that as well. Now let's begin with the presentation. Remember, I do have a presentation today. Um, so we are. So today's topic is integrating leadership and empathy. This topic, we came to this topic, actually, it came in my mind that English Olympiad started a great journey with the motto of inspiring leadership, right? We try to inspire leadership among the youths of Bangladesh. But right now, as our CEO Aman Bhai thinks that empathy is very important in current scenario. So I also agree with him. Now, you always need to encourage leadership, but you cannot do so without empathy. At the same time, if you want to have empathy, you can have empathy all your life, but you cannot make the change without leadership. So today, I'm going to share my experiences from abroad, and connect those experiences with your situations all around Bangladesh and around the globe as well. So now, how is leadership viewed worldwide? So let me tell you that the way probably you are thinking what leadership is not the same as what an American or what a British person thinks around the world. So first off, let's think about what you think. Okay, so we'll see what you think about leadership. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to go to menti.com, 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 and enter the code 863548. Okay, so please go to menti.com and enter the code 863548, because we're going to see what you guys are feeling. You're going to be prompted to answer the question that describe your understanding of leadership in just 3 words. So go there and start sharing your answers. So in the meantime, let's see what you guys are putting in. Go to menti.com and use the code 863548. It's right over here. Okay, so let's see what you guys are thinking. All right, so I'm waiting for you guys to enter and enter menti.com, and let's see your responses. So also do let me know if the link is working. So I'll go and check it myself. Okay, yeah, they're coming. So let's see. Let's wait for some other responses as well. Okay. Hey, Nazmul Nabil. So glad to have you here. Hopefully your show went well. All right, let's see. So guys, if you're just joining in, we're just trying to get your feedback of what leadership is according to you. You have to describe it in 3 words. You have to go to menti.com, menti.com. Okay, menti.com. Go over here, menti.com, and enter the code 863548. So let's see what the people are thinking. Okay, we have dedicated. Okay, so leadership means dedicated. Obviously, you need to be dedicated in order to express leadership. You have to be inspiring, of course. So yeah, without inspiring others, others will not follow you, and others will not go by your rules. Neither would they obey you. Sometimes, out of fear, people follow you, but it doesn't stay long. So you need to inspire others. Also, honesty. Yes. So without honesty, so I think that in Bangladesh, at the ground levels, many of the leaders, I'm not talking about political leaders, I'm talking about the leaders in general. It can be in your family, it can be in your school. So the problem that leaders have is that they don't actually show honesty to their subordinates. So what happens is when over time your dishonesty comes out. Okay, your dishonesty comes out, and what happens is they start to sometimes hate you. They start to as well as not like you, and at the end they will not do what we say is then they will not at all help you to pursue your ultimate objective as a leader. So you need to bring in everyone else, okay, and be honest to them as well. So for example, let me give you a very current example right now. Now, what happens is right now we're seeing a lot of job cuts, salary cuts around the world. So those leaders had to make a decision, right? Now, that decision was not very easy at all. Okay, it was very tough, and probably the toughest decisions those leaders had to make in their lifetime, right till now. Now, that kind of decision is not easy, but if you are honest enough, okay, if you are honest enough, then the employees, even after being cut, even after being sacked, even after you cutting their salaries, they'll try to stay with you. So once the problems go out, once the problems are solved, they'll still want to connect to you. Otherwise, they'll go and follow another leader. Okay, so I do think honesty is very important. Now we have seen a lot of tons of examples from especially CEOs, chief executive officers of different big companies around the world. For example, Jeff Bezos is always honest with his employees. Jeff Bezos is the CEO of Amazon.com, or the Amazon, the company. Now, Walmart, the CEO of Walmart, he was once very honest in one of the countrywide email he sent to his employees in terms of Walmart not doing well. Okay, so being honest, it's very helpful. In fact, people, the American people, they started to go and shop at Walmart more often after the news had published about that employee email that the CEO sent. Okay, so the others is passion. We talked about that. Without passion, you cannot be a leader. Okay, so not everyone can be a leader. So people who are joining in right now, please go to menti.com and use the code H63548. So we want to hear what you think about leadership, and then I'm going to tell about what I believe and what the rest of the world probably believes about leadership. So responsibility is I think is one of the most key things about leadership. I can see that you guys also think so, because without responsibility, you will not care about your subordinates. So in the longer run, you will not be able to maintain your leadership among your subordinates. Collaboration, right? That's one thing we're going to talk about later. Good job, the person who sent that. Dedicated, you need to be dedicated, because like being a leader is not as easy. So Aman Bhai is a very good example. I always talk about him in other platforms as well. So Aman Bhai is a very dedicated to English Olympiad, right? So he's a true leader. Without his dedication, English Olympiad will not be right here in this international platform if it wasn't for his dedication. So honesty is there. Commanding is something that you need to have. All of the leaders around the world, they are commanding, but at the same time, you need to mix match that with subtle behavior as well. Okay, the willpower, I think, is the most important one over here. I do believe that without will, your organization, or the organization, the institute that you're leading, will not go far. So you need to have willpower. Foreknowledge is very important, because not only foreknowledge, I would say, I think that knowledge about the environment that you're dealing with, and knowledge about the subordinates that you're dealing with, is very important. So for example, suppose in one meeting, you're talking to your subordinates, and you're the leader. Now you see one of the guys, or one of the persons, he is not that much into the meeting, right? So you know that he or she is having problems, maybe in her family or in his life. But how do you start the conversation, right? If you have a foreknowledge of that person, about that person, then you can ask him, are the kids all right? Right? You can ask him, is your mother feeling well? Okay. So you can also ask him or her, uh, did you, suppose you guys are students, so you can also ask him or her, did you um, like are you having difficulty with your homework? Did you do your homework last night? What did you think about the project that our teacher sent us last weekend, right? So things like that. So you need to have, obviously, foreknowledge. You have to be inspiring as well. Passion is coming up more from you guys. Resilience, yes. So resilience, without resilience, you see, you'll be very prone to falling over. Okay, there are gonna be tough times, there are gonna be hardships, but you need to be resilient in order to lead your workforce to your ultimate objective. So very good, guys. I'm getting more info from you guys. Systematic work. Obviously. So, well, some of the leaders are not as systematic as you might think, but most of the leaders have their own process of leading. So it is very important in your lifetime, hopefully in your future scenarios, that you develop your own system of how your leadership works, because you need to mix match, you need to understand, you need to learn from mistakes that and come up with your own system. Not everyone's leadership style, not everyone's leadership technique is going to be the same, but you need to come up with yours and be very passionate about that as well. Okay, so let's go on to what the typical scenario is about leadership. Okay, so first off, coordinating. One of you, probably a few of you, have said coordinating. So you need to coordinate, right? So coordinating means you need to play in your strength, but also understand what your subordinates are thinking, and need to bring all of those different perspectives into your organization or institute. Okay, so for example, if your team consists of 6 people, most probably, your 6 of them are going to have different opinions, right? They're going to have different ideas. They're not going to believe in others' ideas. Some of them might not respect the others. I should say, some of them may not respect the others, um, like uh, the others, I should say, opinions, right? As much as we want them to do. So you need to coordinate as a leader. Okay, so coordinating is very important. Sometimes you need to coordinate people, sometimes you need to coordinate ideas, sometimes you need to instigate your opinions as well. Okay, teamwork is very important. So here, teamwork is not only leading. Okay, so sometimes, I'd say most of the times, the leader's ideas may not be most appropriate. Okay, it might be some team person's ideas that is more appropriate for the scenario. Okay, now if you are good at teamwork, so you would stop forcing your ideas as a leader and help the others get involved with the idea that is most suitable for your job, or your scenario, right? So having teamwork skills is very important. So having teamwork not only involves leading, but it also involves uh, sharing. It also involves thinking. It also involves having the right attitude to accept the other's ideas and let go of your probably the bad idea of yourself. Okay, so having teamwork is very important. At the same time, you need to manage a variety of resources, right? So think about the kids. You can think about your resources in your classroom, right? So you probably have different resources, for example, your chairs, tables, right? Probably you heard that one of your teachers is going to do a project, right? So you could go, this is your leadership. You could go and ask the teacher, like, how do you want the classroom to be arranged? How do you want the chairs or tables or benches to be arranged? So this is leadership. You need to manage those resources as well. In your homework, okay? So in your homework, you could also, um, what I should say, in your homework, you can also use your resources from the internet. Remember, you should, guys, actually the kids, you should not plagiarize content from the internet, but you should actually consult them. Okay, there's a vast resources out there. Now you need to manage all of this, because not, you see, the resources from the internet, every student has access to, right? But the true leader will be able to manage all those resources, prioritize all those resources, and get them into your ultimate objective, right? So this is why I think traditional belief of managing people and resources is very important. So these are also needed in for good leadership. But let's see how the people around the world they think of leadership. So from my experiences, especially at the State Department of the U.S. In their leadership programs, I have been to several one of them, and so at least over there, and I have at least colleagues and friends or students from over 200 countries around the world. So from my understanding from their conversations and the conversations that we had, or I have been having for the last 8 years, is that what we think in Bangladesh is not true leadership. Okay, let me tell you what they think is true leadership is, and I also believe in their perspective as well. Okay, remember, you need to have those points from the traditional leadership, but you need to have these as well. For example, a true leader, okay, so I believe a true leader is not the one who leads people. Okay, a true leader is the one who initiates stuff. Okay, this can be ideas, this can be a good deed, this can be anything, this can be your opinion as well. So what does that initiating mean? For example, suppose in your classrooms, okay, you are having difficulties. Okay, you're having difficulties understanding a topic. Now you're afraid that the teacher might yell at you, might scold you, right? If you ask him or her twice, right? But if you have true leadership, okay, you'd go, you'd put down your fears and you'd initiate a conversation with your teacher that how you're gonna, maybe he can explain the thing again, or maybe he can explain the stuff from your perspective as well. Okay, so initiating is very important. So I believe that the person who initiates is the true leader. Same as a leader has to be entrepreneuring. We're gonna delve into that later, but he has to be entrepreneuring. So what does entrepreneuring means? Remember, before we go into what entrepreneuring means, think to yourself, can you spell entrepreneurship or entrepreneur properly? Because since we're on the platform English Olympiad, it is quite the time to understand and practice some spelling that you might face. Or probably I have said some questions in the before in English Olympiad tests, right? You have seen, some of the groups have seen entrepreneur as a spelling. Now, so if you can spell entrepreneurship correctly, do you know what entrepreneurship means? Yes, it means starting up. Entrepreneurship means start up. Entrepreneuring means starting up. But let's dissect the word a little bit more, okay? So let's see. So entrepreneur is a French word. Actually, right now it's in English, but it has French origins. So think of that. So this is a tip from me, being an English teaching professional, that always try to go to your roots of your words, because there are millions of words in English. You cannot remember all of them. But what you can do is you can learn different roots. And if you see that root, you would know that meaning, and you can at least have an idea of thousands and hundreds of other words. Okay, so think, have you guys seen the spelling bee of the United States? It's a very famous show. So think about that. So whenever a word is given to them, the children over there, the children would ask the judges, what's the language of origin? There's an option to ask that, right? The language of origin, because when you understand the language of origin, it helps you to spell better. Like, for example, encyclopedia. What's the spelling of pedia, right? It comes from Latin. So all of the Latins that have E sounds in them, they always spell in the same way, right? They're always spelled in the same way. So things like that. So always in Bangladesh, we don't have this practice, but I do suggest that you should go into that. By the way, English Mania has some roots in there. So you should also go and study English Mania, both of the versions, 1 and 2, to get into the roots. Now, entree. So have you heard the word entree? So probably you have, probably you haven't. So let me connect the word entree. So if you have ever been to a formal dining restaurant, okay, a formal dining restaurant, probably in their menu, you would see in typical menus, you would see appetizers, right? In a three-course meal, you would see appetizers. But in a formal dining restaurant, you would see entree instead of appetizers, right? So entree means the dishes that you begin the meal with. So entree in French means to start, okay? Now, prendre in French means to take. So remember, an entrepreneur, a leader, an entrepreneur is also a leader. He takes the opportunities, right? That's the difference between a typical person and a true leader. A true leader foresees the future and grabs the opportunity. So prendre means take. Now, or you'd see or in a lot of different words like saboteur, rapporteur, right? So or in French means person. Okay, now or is spelled as E-U-R. Okay, now or is a person. So saboteur would mean the person who would sabotage, right? So entrepreneur as a whole means to take or to start the opportunity by taking, and the person who does that, right? So entrepreneuring means to starting up. An entrepreneur always starts up. He's the first person to go and do that, right? For example, like think of English Olympiad, for example. Uh, Everyone, at least for 50 years, many of people had an idea to start a revolution of English teaching and English speaking and English skills all around Bangladesh, right? Many of them had an idea. I myself had an idea, right? When I was a kid. So, but not everyone started up, right? Aman Bhai did. Now he has created a big international platform, right? So that shows the true leadership in him, right? That is entrepreneuring. Okay, so a true leader has to be entrepreneuring. He has to start up. Okay, now I have two examples to connect this idea with you guys. Now, uh, think about think about the trashes that we have in Bangladesh, right? So many of you guys might complain that countries around the world, they are so beautiful. Bangladesh, we go around, we see a lot of trash, we see a lot of dusts, we see a lot of um, exhausts, right? Now, why so? I would say it is so because of our lack of leadership skills. Okay, I would say that you are the person who is responsible for that. I would say I am the person who is responsible for that. How? Now, suppose you saw a peel of banana on the road, right? Hundreds of people are moving through the road, but no one is pushing it aside. Okay, remember, most often see that one person goes that he might not be educated, he might be a CEO, he might be a sweeper as well, right? But he's the person who takes the responsibility, who does the leadership act to move the peel aside, right? So that is true leadership. Okay, so I do encourage that all of you guys, whenever you see different problems in your society, in your family, you stand up and you act. Okay, that is true leadership. You're seeing, you're thinking, you're speculating, you're giving them theories. That is not true leadership. Okay, so having the mindset to initiate, to start the good deed is true leadership. All right, next up, I want to give you one more example. So for the kids, for the students, current students who are watching or probably will watch later after the live ends, is so guys, How many times have you faced a problem where in your classes you need to sit for one more group study, right? One more group study. You might not have the access of a teacher during the last phases of exam, but you are thinking that having a group study between your friends, among your friends, is going to help you understand the topic better. But what actually holds you back from initiating that is that, oh, I might have some good ideas that my friend is going to get, he's going to have better results, right? Don't do that. That's not true leadership. But if you are the person, think to yourself, have you done this before? If you are the person to initiate that group study, then you have leadership in you. Okay, so I do highly recommend that going through my thinking about these two examples that I've just shown you. These are very practical examples, at least to me, and start thinking differently. Okay, you need to initiate, you need to start to be a true leader. Okay, now let's come to empathy. Now empathy, I'm not gonna delve deep that much because throughout there have been different sessions in on our channel, Initial Olympiad Facebook page previously on empathy, and there have been even more experts than me. Okay, there have been experts on emotional intelligence who are experts in empathy, right? So, but I'm just gonna help you understand how to connect empathy. Okay, so again, go to menti.com. Okay, again, go to menti.com and enter the code 863548. Okay, go to menti.com and enter the code 863548. What is empathy? Describe in one word what you think empathy is. Okay, so I'll wait for everyone to show your opinions, and go to menti.com and enter the code 863548. Menti is menti.com, and enter the code 863548. All right, guys, so go to menti.com and let's see what you guys are doing. So now you can enter menti.com. All right, enter your code 863548. Menti.com, and let's see what your responses are. So what do you guys think is empathy? All right, so let's see what empathy is. Okay, it is just going to take a few more seconds to get the results in. So if you're just joining, please go to menti.com and enter the code 863548. If you were logged in from before, that's okay as well. You can continue from there. Okay, so I'm still not seeing any responses. Go to menti.com and enter the code 863548. Okay, not sure if it is working. Yeah, it is working. So guys, if you're just joining in, please go to menti.com and let's see what your opinion about empathy is. So we will just keep it over here and continue because we're probably running out of time and I don't want to have you guys wait for too long. So to me, empathy is its you viewpoint. Okay, to me is its you viewpoint. Now, what is you viewpoint? So if you're the person who always thinks about the other person, okay, if you're thinking to yourself that you, that means not you, the other person, what he or she is thinking, then you have you viewpoint. Okay, so that is empathy. At least to me, I think that is empathy. If you have the you viewpoint, if you always put yourself in others' shoes, then you have empathy. Okay, so this is a quick check that whether you are empathetic or not. Just ask yourself, do you always think about the others or do you always think about yourself? If you're thinking about the others, then you have empathy. Okay, to me, it's you viewpoint. Always think from the other's viewpoint. Now, let me tell you one very powerful story that changed the world in the past. Okay, and I do believe that can change the world again. It is again to help you connect empathy to your real world. Okay, so bear with me and let's hear this story. This is a true story, by the way. So in the First World War, um, America, United States of America, did not participate, right? So they did not participate directly, but what they did was they sent ambulances, they sent doctors, they sent a lot of aids and other helps to Europe. Okay. Now, one of those helps was AFS, American Field Service. Okay. So they were just an ambulance company. They were volunteering to go to Europe, go to the war devastated areas and help the people over there and give them ambulance services. Okay. Now, people, the Americans in the AFS, American Field Service, they started to think of something. Okay. They saw that at one end, war was happening. Okay. At one end, war was happening, but uh, the other part, they could see the devastation. Now, they would see that these are just normal people. These are just regular people. In the US, they used to hear these propagandas about one party was good while the other party was bad. They were the evil guys, right? But when they went to the field and saw those people, they would see that they had typical families, they had typical children. The children were used to go to school, but they cannot because the schools are closed. Many of them are at the hospital, right? So they used to think about these things and they saw them firsthand and they came up with an idea. Okay, the idea struck them that these are just regular students, these are just regular people, just like in America, these are just regular people. So they thought that these are just regular people, and the people back home, they had to uh, know these things. Okay, they were just all mixed up with propagandas. They had to know this thing that these are just regular people. So why are we calling one side bad, and why are we helping to continue the war and end it with one side losing and one side winning? Okay, so what they did was they selected one student, okay, from a part of Germany, then Germany, and brought that student with them to the United States. Okay, and they had that student stay in a family, a US family, and one student, okay, one student from the US, they took and put in that same family in that part of Germany. Okay, so what happened when those two families, they mingled with with that student and with that child, they started to understand that this is just like us. Okay, this guy is just like us. He is just a human being. Why are we thinking that those guys are bad and those guys are good? So from this, an exchange student, the world's first exchange program started. Okay, now these exchange programs have shaped the world a lot. Okay, you see most of the US presidents, including Barack Obama, have been an exchange student. Okay, you look at Europe, leaders there have been exchange students. The Angela Merkel, right, from Germany, she is also an exchange student, right? So if you look at the world, many people, many of the leaders right now are exchange students. Now, why am I saying this? Because if you have empathy, if you see that how the other person is doing, if the other person is truly doing, then you can first be a leader, then you can have empathy, and then you can integrate to become something else, someone else, okay, that the other person or the people around the world can look up to. Okay, so this is, I think, is a powerful idea that shaped the world in the past, and I do think that it will shape the world again if you can connect this idea to your daily lives. Okay, now today's topic, we have learned about leadership, we have learned about empathy. Now, how do we integrate, how do we incorporate it to your daily lives? Okay, so first off, empathy is weak without compassion. Okay, so suppose no, it doesn't matter how much you want to have empathy, if you don't have compassion for others, I don't think it's going to be possible. Okay, so to be empathetic, you need to have compassion. All right. Now, um, let's see. You need leadership to act. So suppose you have all of the compassion in the world, you have all of the empathy in the world, you might be the most empathetic person in the world. Still, if you don't have leadership, can you implement that empathy? I don't think so. Okay, so you need to implement that empathy with leadership qualities. That's why I do believe integrating in empathy and leadership is very important in today's world. And you guys are the future, and it is time for you guys to stand up and integrate, have empathy, and please do act. Okay, you can change the world around you if you have empathy and leadership. Okay, so you might have empathy. So for example, in current situation, in the pandemic situation, in the pandemic world, uh, we are all feeling sorry for the others. We're feeling sorry for those who cannot make ends meet, who cannot have uh, 3 days meal, right? We're very empathetic. But what are we doing to change this, right? Because probably those of us who are not doing anything to change this don't have leadership skills, okay, don't have leadership qualities. So you need to act, okay, you need to initiate, you need to start, do the act of leadership and have that empathy to change the world. This can be as simple as having a bar, okay, having a bar in front of your building, okay, where all of the residents from your building puts clothes, puts probably money, maybe in Bangladesh it's not a good idea, but probably food, right? So that people anonymously who need them can get them, right? This is as simple as that. Okay, maybe you can donate some money to some organizations, right? Or if you're staying home, you can coordinate a project, right? Among your friends, you can coordinate a project by which you can identify places in your, around your city, around your town, around your village, where people are in need, right? So now you can analyze, staying at home, you can get that data and provide that data to the voluntary or community service workers who are providing food, right? Who are providing support. Now, probably they don't have time to analyze, but you have skills yourself. You can actually analyze them. You can get the hotspot of places where people are in need, right? So if you can actually set up a what I should say, a point, a booth, people can get there. Because right now I think that there are a lot of inefficiencies, ineffectiveness around the aids that people are doing there. But this can be your chance to analyze, staying at home, and give those data to them. This is as simple as that. So you need to act. Now, uh, I am almost at the end of our session, but now it is time to get your feedback. So on our live session, please comment whatever else you need to know, whatever explanations you need to have from me, or maybe from Aman Bhai, about empathy and integrating leadership and empathy. Okay, so keep posting, and I'll come back to you after a powerful example of empathy. So a powerful example, which I think is, suppose uh, you, all of us probably have maid servants at our home. We have subordinates like our drivers, or like our uh, clerks, right? Especially the maid servants, they might have children at home, right? Okay, so all of the children around Bangladesh, those of you who are listening to it live or will listen to it later, I have a question for you. So probably your subordinates are having trouble with their children's education. What are you doing? Okay, what are you doing as kids? I'm talking to kids, not the parents. The kids, what are you doing to help them educate? This is as simple as that. If you show empathy, if you show leadership skills, okay, you can have our own meeting at your house to teach your servants children, right? You are educated, you are having top class education, but why aren't you teaching the others? This is as simple as that. You don't need money. You probably have a lot of time right now in the pandemic world, right? Why aren't you doing that? So this is I think, is a powerful example of empathy. If every household starts teaching, if you kids start teaching all of the students, all of your subordinates' kids, Bangladesh would be a different place. Okay, we might have a higher literacy rate, but true education is something else, right? So you can give them true education for free. You don't need money. You just need to show an act of empathy. So I don't know, maybe you're not letting people in right now in your house. Okay, what's what's the problem? You can have those children sit at the balconies. You can have them sit at outside of your doors, right, and start teaching them. Okay, this is as simple as that. I do hope and I do encourage that if you start showing this act of empathy, I do think in the coming years, Bangladesh should be a very different place. Okay, so this is as simple as that. You don't have to do a lot, but this is it.
Hello, thank you very much, everyone, for watching the show. We are about to end the session, but we have some questions. So, the question is from Shihabuddin. Are interacted people our extended purse according to empathy? This is a question from Shihabuddin. And we would like to
Mhm.
take more questions from you if you have any question.
Mhm.
But we have people with us. Nazmul Nabil, it's amazing to
Mhm.
see you there. Faisal Bhai in you live show. So we have Tahsin Jaman Siddiqui. He is the coordinator of Rangpur Division. So he has a good comment here. Great to see you, Faisal Bhaiya. After a long time, I hope it is going to
Mhm.
be a great session. Greetings on, okay, we have already done the session. It was fantastic and we are listening very attentively. This is important to know about empathy and we should be careful about this pandemic moment, of course. So I would like to take the question of Shihabuddin Faisal.
Mhm. Okay, so our interacted people, our extended parts, according to empathy. I do think everyone is our part. Okay, I believe everyone is our part. So you cannot prosper leaving one person behind. Okay, so you need to think about everyone. Okay, so our solutions, whatever we're thinking of, our projects, our programs, everything needs to touch up all of the people around us. Now, obviously, you're going to have your primary target market to implement your project, but if you can involve everyone, that is called true sustainable project planning or true sustainable program planning or sustainable sustaining all of your efforts, even with empathy or without empathy, but that is how you sustain in the especially in these tough scenarios we are facing around the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Faisal. And we are
Mhm.
going to announce another thing that our top 10 participants from last grand finale are making videos and would like to encourage everyone to make videos and encouragement, something from your home for our students, participants, and anyone can enjoy these videos that can help them. You can just prepare them, send them to us at English Olympiad BD @ gmail.com or English Olympiad Global @ gmail.com. And we are posting them all at English Olympiad YouTube channel and Facebook page. So we have many empathy related shows. We started the show 2 months ago, 2 months
Mhm.
back. We started the show inspiring empathy and leadership, because this is very important to understand other situation perfectly, and so that we can just share something. For example, we have got a good example of uh, loneliness at our English Olympiad leaders who are at home, and they couldn't join at any program, they couldn't hang out, they couldn't just participate in any classes, so they were just alone and they had no work. We started online shows, programs, and we got 3,500 participants. So every leaders, especially in Dhaka team, they are busy, they have team, they are working. So this way we engage them to work and to keep them mentally okay and to develop their mental health and their skills together. On the other hand, students are joining from many parts of the world at our tongue twister show, at our English learning sessions. This is very important as an educational platform we are developing them. So, how do you think that this kind of activities, education, and other planning are effective as a mental health at this moment?
So I do think, actually, as a teaching professional, let me tell you what we as teachers, uh, especially the ones that are at the policy making level, are thinking. So we, especially, at least my program in the United States, we don't think that depriving of education, that, like, you guys are not going to schools, right? You're probably studying online, but still you're being hampered in terms of education. We don't think that that is the big issue over here. Okay, and I've talked to other teachers around the world, so they also don't think that it's a problem right now. The problem right now is the mental health of our children. Okay, so you need to have them, give them interactive activities at home, especially the parents, to actually involve themselves in different ideas. They have to think about this current scenarios. Okay, they might have a solution that leaders around the world didn't even think of coming up with. Okay, so mental health is very important. Now, the stuff that we are doing at English Olympiad is very important. Okay, because we're giving you interactive and contemporary ideas to have yourself give yourself the time to think about it, and at the same time, think it's gonna improve your children's mental health. Okay, so I do believe that the things that we're doing, especially the video making one, it's very important. Okay, because you see, the experts are saying that the videos will rule the world in the future. Okay, because everyone's gonna stay home. Probably it has already started, but probably most of us are gonna have a studio set up at home. Okay, so video making is a very important skill that I do know that in the corporate world, okay, it is very needed right now, but it is going to be even more important in the future. So video making skills is very important. You have no idea how powerful those softwares can be. Okay, you can transform yourself to the to the and become an astronaut, right? So that is a very important skill that you're also learning at the same time. That is going to help you become leaders in the future. Also, practice English right now and help you get exposures around the world. Because I think the participants that are sending us videos, it's not only for their betterment, but I believe that you guys, those who are sending the videos, you are encouraging millions of other kids around the world. They're watching the shows, they're seeing those kids are being inspired. So I do believe that it is good for your mental health. At the same time, it's good for you changing the status of the world as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is very important for our participants and students who are connected with the English Olympiad Facebook page and everything. So this is important that we got a lot of responses from Fiji, a
Hmm.
country island beside Australia, and we are getting responses from USA, from Canada, from India that they would like to join at our tongue twister show. They would like to give their kids to join here because they are bored at home, and this will help them to be connected with a huge community through English Olympiad Facebook page. So we are encouraged, and I would like to salute all the people working behind the show, because this is important to give time and managing everything, connecting, communicating. So I have another question from Shujon Nath. The videos are good, sir. Please, can you give tips for giving a good speech and presentation? He's looking for some tips for presentation.
So probably we have had at our English Olympiad live show more credible persons than me on presentations, right? But still having presenting around the world, and the U.S. government have given me a special recognition for my presentations when I was staying in the U.S. So from my perspective, I do believe that speech is just about stress and intonations. Pause, stress, and intonations. Okay. In Bangladesh, or even non-native English-speaking countries, people there have the problem that they speak English in the tone of their own mother language. Okay. This is very easy to solve. How? You just have to learn where to stop, where to pause, and where to stress, right? If you just do this, I think this is the golden rule to improving your speech, especially in English. Now, presentation skills, I mean, in terms of literature, we can talk about, talk hours, but there are some simple stuff like your gestures and postures. You don't want to be static like me over here, right? So you need to move your hands, but remember the problem from that literature that we are going to face right now in the current scenarios is that those literatures, I mean, those academic books, those tips were usually for what I should say is uh, live presentations, okay? But today we're turning to the on-camera presentations. Now, on camera, uh, you have to be very careful about your gestures and postures, okay? So gestures, you need to have very subtle gestures because the camera, due to the low frame rate, it doesn't pick up all of your motions. For example, I am doing a lot of gestures, my mouth is doing a lot of gestures, but it's not probably picking up and transferring to you guys who are watching the live, okay? So you need to have as much, as little gestures as you want or as you can, but still don't make it static, okay? Make it dynamic and still have some subtle changes in your gestures though. So I do think that these two tips, one about speech and one about the presentation, is very important right now in this scenario.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is very important in this short video. Of course, we would like to keep them very short and precise tips. So we have Tahsin Jaman Siddiqui. the scene said, from my perspective, I think empathy is constructional understanding. This is also a good thinking, of course. So empathy is very important to spread it, because if we don't feel other situations in a perfect understanding, we cannot solve, or we cannot show our gratitude, our other things, necessity and everything. So that's why people are making bad comments. That's why people don't understand other what's happening inside the people who are suffering from many things. So this is important. We'd like to encourage everyone to be empathetic, to be careful about others thinking, others activities. And at the end, I would like to show the Shujon Nuts another comment. Thank you, sir, for giving the suggestions. Thank you for joining with us. And I would like to request you to just draw the ending line about the show today. And I would like to thank you very much for giving your time planning. We missed another show with you, but today we could do it. So this is very important. We are happy to have you online, and this is very important also to have the communication with you for a long time. That is
Mhm.
uh, much more gap we have for a long time. So what is your ending line to draw for our leaders to be empathetic and to practice the empathy?
So I do believe that the points that I've mentioned today and the examples that I've shown you, because examples are a great thing to connect your daily lives to the scenarios that have happened in the past, right? So I believe that those things, especially in terms of leaders, do act. Okay, if you just think, you are not going to change the world. Do act. And the what I say is empathy is the one that you need to the you viewpoint. Okay, you need to think from the other's viewpoint. You should start doing it from today, from this moment, and only then you can improve yourself, succeed in your own life, and help others succeed as well. So thank you, Aman Bhai, for having me. It was a wonderful session. I believe, I hope I could give some
Thank you.
tips
Thank you so
to
much.
everyone else. Mhm.
So we'd like to have you in many shows. This is the beginning, because we had to had the program, because the empathy show was the beginning show at English Olympiad Facebook page. It was very difficult to run shows this way, but for this situation, of course, we have to be focused on online activities. Now we are having a lot of good time with online activities, and we have 3,500 participants at online pro linguist program organized by Dhaka team. And this is going to be one of the biggest program in Bangladesh, and they're working. So I'd like to thank you, and I would like to invite you at our many programs soon. I hope Khulna Division Yacht team will join at our Yacht Talk show. So thank you very much again for joining today. Thank you everyone who are watching and who are giving time at English Olympiad Facebook page. And would like to come back with you with another show, Tongue Twisters Yacht Talk, with some funny programs. So stay connected with English Olympiad Facebook page and YouTube channel. Thank you very much.